So that was a predictable performance and an even more predictable scoreline, wasn't it? What is there to really talk about in a game where the Reds came in as heavy favourites against a League Two side? Well, if you've been around here at Panenka, you already know how we do things. We covered the pre-season friendlies, so of course we're not skipping an FA Cup game. Now, yes, we're coming off two frustrating results, a draw against Manchester United and a loss to Spurs in the EFL Cup. That's exactly why this match was the perfect chance to rebuild some confidence, rotate the squad, and give a few players those well-deserved minutes on the pitch. So whether you missed the game entirely, want to see how Chiesa performed, or are curious about why Chelsea fans were fuming when Rio Ngumoha decided to leave, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive straight into it. We've got to give credit to Accrington Stanley, and especially their manager, for the way they set up defensively. Sure, we scored 2 goals in the first half, but they didn't make it easy for us, especially when we tried to build out from the back. Surprisingly, Accrington pressed us high with a 4-2-4 block, matching our 4-2 build-up shape. This approach cut off the passing lanes to our pivot players, and with Gravenberch arrested for this game, playing through the central areas became a real challenge. On top of that, their number 14 had the job of man-marking Dominik Szoboszlai, and he absolutely stuck to him like glue, whether Dominik dropped deep or drifted wide. But here's where things opened up for us. With their focus on shutting down our Hungarian playmaker, gaps started to appear in the middle of the pitch. To take advantage, we relied on constant rotations, with Darwin, Jota, and Elliott all dropping into those spaces to receive the ball and keep things moving. For example, you can see here how their player stayed tight on Szoboszlai in central areas, putting pressure on the Hungarian every time he got on the ball. However, thanks to Dominik's smart movement, he managed to drag his marker out wide to the right-hand side, which opened up enough space for Trent to step in, receive the ball, and drive into the vacant area. Still, our first goal came from a devastating counter-attack right after defending a corner. Once again, it was our players' ability to pounce on every opportunity to attack the open spaces that allowed us to punish Accrington's reckless approach when committing numbers forward. Sure, Salah was resting at home, but that didn't mean we were short of players capable of causing chaos in transition. Here, you can see the exact moment Szoboszlai won the ball after Accrington messed up their second ball execution following the corner. Right away, Trent, Darwin and Jota were off, attacking the open spaces and giving us a clear numerical advantage over Accrington's backline. From there, Szoboszlai did brilliantly to slip Trent through, and Trent wasted no time unleashing Darwin into the final third. Thankfully, Núñez made the right call, squaring the ball perfectly to Jota for an easy tap-in. From this point onward, there isn't much to break down tactically. Let's be honest, we stuck to our plan of rotating players to stretch their defensive block, while Accrington had no plan B, either to stop us defensively or to create something offensively. Their main focus was targeting Wataru Endo's side, and that's exactly where we need to talk about the Japanese defender. Filling in for Van Dijk as the left-sided centre-back, we thought Endo might struggle in one-on-one situations or in aerial duels. But surprisingly, our number 3 looked completely unfazed in this unfamiliar role. Endo ended the game with 2 clearances, won one of his 2 ground duels, and came out on top in 2 of his 3 aerial battles. No matter how many times Accrington tried to play long balls toward their striker on that side, Endo's impeccable timing and determination consistently put him in the perfect position, not just to win the ball back, but to completely outplay the opposition before they even had a chance. Of course, another defender we need to talk about is the man who captained us in this game, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yes, we've been critical of him lately, his performance against United, and the ongoing contract situation, for example, but credit where it's due. When a player steps up and delivers, we can only praise their attitude and performance. Trent's goal was absolutely brilliant. Once again, as if this guy is physically incapable of scoring anything other than screamers. The freedom Arne Slot has given him to roam during the build-up and in the final third is exactly what allowed him to showcase that incredible ball-striking technique for our second goal. And let's not forget how his constant movement in the build-up phase created gaps and spaces for our other players to exploit. 2-0 at the break was a comfortable and expected scoreline, with literally everyone on the pitch doing their job. From Kwanzaa confidently progressing the ball on his own, to Harvey Elliott switching play brilliantly to help us maintain pressure in the final third, it was a solid all-around performance. But we need to talk more about the 16-year-old whose movement had us mesmerised. Guys, we've known about Rio Ngumoha's talent since the day he joined us, and if you haven't already, check out the video we posted on him. Still, we were blown away by how he handled himself in his first senior debut for the club. The teenager absolutely oozed confidence, never hesitating to take on his marker, and even dazzling through defenders with his ball-carrying ability. The quick feet, the flair, the ability to go from 0 to 100 in a split second, Rio Ngumoha's two-way threat is something we don't really have elsewhere in the squad, aside from Salah. What stood out even more was his versatility. Rio showed he's just as comfortable cutting inside as he is driving down the touchline, something not every winger has in their arsenal, let alone a 16-year-old. Moving into the second half, two players we haven't seen much of this season helped extend our lead to 4-0. The first was Jadon Danns, who literally started and finished the sequence that led to our third goal. As soon as his teammate lost possession, Danns immediately counter-pressed, won the ball back, and then drove past a defender to set Chiesa up in what was almost a one-on-one situation. While the Italian was unlucky to be denied, Danns showed incredible hunger by pouncing on the rebound and scoring his first senior goal of the season. See, this is where we can draw one conclusion. The opportunity someone like at 16, like Ngumoha, got to start a game at Anfield, and then the way Danns came in to score his goal can only show why other young talents in the league would prefer joining us than remain at their clubs. In recent years, there's no other big club than Liverpool that provided this pathway to senior football more than us. And for that, the club's management should take credit, because this will not only allow to have plenty of talent to develop, but it can also be crucial for the club's financial situation in a time where many big clubs are finding it difficult to operate within the rules. Speaking of Chiesa, our number 14 had a much better second half. He made clever runs down the right-hand side, tracked back to help defensively, and generally brought more energy and fire to the flank compared to the first half. Thankfully, he was rewarded for his efforts with his first goal for the club, taking his chance from distance, his weaker foot in the closing stages, to score our fourth goal of the evening. That was a solid kick around the park, wasn't it, guys? We got a closer look at players like Elliott and Chiesa, who, based on their second half performances, might just start earning more minutes in the league going forward. Then there's Rio Ngumoha, who, while still raw and in need of time to develop, showed exactly why Chelsea fans were furious when we swooped in to hijack his signature. The kid looks absolutely electric, but now the real test is coming. Up next, we're heading away from home to face the only team that's handed us a league defeat so far, Nottingham Forest. The Tricky Trees have lived up to their name this season under Nuno Espiritu Santo, sitting in second place with the same points as Arsenal. Not only are they rock solid defensively, but they're also absolutely lethal in transition, a lesson we should have learned from our first encounter with them. That's why Arne Slot and his players need to be 100% ready for this match, as it could very well make or break our title charge. Now that we've had our say, we want to hear from you. Were you impressed with Ngumoha's quick feet? Do you think Chiesa has done enough to earn more minutes going forward? Who was your man of the match? And, most importantly, do you think we'll be able to overcome the Nottingham Forest challenge that's headed our way? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more content.